questions. First question here, Malika on the left side, fourth row.
Jayson, you talked about in the wake of the 2022 NBA Finals how much it just sat with you and you thought about it for what it's turned out to be years until you got back to the stage. I know it's only one game, but sort of exercising those demons in game one, getting back there, getting out there, how did that feel?
It felt great. To be honest, I was nervous. I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous in like a anxious way, right? As like a little kid, it was it's surreal being in the finals. And you know, when you're young, I guess in your career, you think you're always gonna go back. And last year was kind of like a wake up call when we didn't make it. So you know, getting back to this point and being here is really a big deal. And you know, we played well tonight, so a lot of things we feel like we could do better. But it definitely does feel good to win the first game. But we know that 2 years ago we won the first game and, you know, the outcome of that series. So we still have a lot of work to do.
Jayson, David Bennett with ESPN. You guys were able to get through the Heat and the Cavs and the Pacers without Kristaps Porzingis. But what did he mean to getting past the Mavs tonight?
I mean, you always want to have your team at full strength. You know, we're a good team, right, when guys are down, but we're really, really special when we have everybody. I think I said it earlier how seamless his transition was after being away for 6-7 weeks and coming into the game and having the first half like that. You know, that was a big spark for us to start the game.
Vince on the right side.
Jayson, Vince Goodway, Yahoo's with. You know more than anybody how important health is this time of year with everything that happened to you in Game 7 last year against Miami with the ankle. With
Thanks for reminding me.
Sorry about that. With Kristaps coming back tonight, does it just feel like you all are a complete unit that with everything lining up with the way that he protects the rim and can play in the middle of the floor, that this is what has been envisioned from the start of the season?
Yeah, and I think you guys got a pretty clear picture of that throughout the season, right? When we were healthy for most of that, and how we played and how effective we were on both ends, and you know, KP had a big hand in that, and the success that we had this season. And you know, obviously getting hurt in the playoffs, we had to figure it out. We had to adjust and play different lineups and whatever. And you know, 12-2 up until that point, we did a really good job. But it is a relief to have him back because we know we're a much better team when he's back.
Nick here on the left side.
Jayson, Nick Alley, Field Level Media. Obviously having KP back is big, but you know, Al Horford has provided a really strong presence down low throughout the postseason here. Can you just talk about his ability to kind of mold his game in order to take on different roles for this team on any given basis?
Yeah, and they go hand in hand. Al has stepped up into that starting role, you know, at this stage in his career, being a centerpiece of us getting to the finals. Something that shouldn't be overlooked. His presence out there on both ends of the floor, what he allows us to do offensively, dragging out the big men, you know, and we've had playoff games where Al has hit 6-7 threes, right? And even if he doesn't, you have to, you know, the team has to respect him as a shooter. So it just helps with our spacing. So can't give Al enough credit for the impact that he's had on his playoff run.
Melissa, left side, fifth row.
Hey, Jayson. What has impressed you the most about the way Jaylen has used all of the criticism that he's received over the years and all of the doubt he has received over the years as motivation to become the player he is today?
Yeah, I think, you know, when you look at JB, somebody that has really worked on his craft year after year to just become a better player. And I think you can tell by the way that the game has slowed down for him and the way he's making reads on the offensive end. And that doesn't happen just overnight. It's a process, and I've seen it. I've seen the work that he puts in and watching film and things like that. So it's special to see when guys put in the work and it translates to on the court.
Jared, back left.
Jared Weiss, The Athletic. Got more Jaylen questions. He really was a big part of the response of their big run in the second half, doing it on both ends, being hyper aggressive at the rim on both ends. How have you seen Jaylen really grow into knowing when's the moment for him to bring that aggressiveness and that energy, and how does that change the game in the big ones?
Yeah, I think just being his teammate for 7 years, we've been in so many big games. We've been in so many big moments. And just always being there to answer the call, in those moments, especially on both ends of the floor.
John in the back.
Jayson, can you explain the beginning of the third quarter when they went on their big run? What was going wrong for you guys? And what was the process of trying to figure that out and turn it around?
I think our offense got a little stagnant, and it had a lot to do with our spacing. They kind of put us in some bad ways on offense, which kind of threw off our spacing and slowed us down. And they started to get stops and running in transition. But that's part of it. They're going to make shots. That's a really good team over there. And we just did a great job of responding in real time after Joe called that timeout. They cut it to 8. We came to the bench and talked about it, executed, made plays, and took the lead back up.
Standing in the back.
Jason, Valeria Rubino, Todo Deporte and BBC. Considering what's at stake, how do you manage to use responsibility and pressure to your advantage and keep playing, having fun on the court, doing what you love and living the dream?
Just staying present, staying in the moment. Like I said, I was in a positive way. I was nervous before the game. I was like a kid, first day of school. I know how exciting and big of a deal all of this is. So just finding a space to enjoy the moment and have fun playing basketball.
Abby in the back.
Abby Chen, NBC Sports Boston. Jason, how special is this group when it comes to individual defenders and what you guys are able to do in those one-on-one matchups and what that does for the collective defense?
Something that we've harped on all season. What makes our team really special is we don't have guys that we hide on defense, right? Bigs and guards. We switch. We take on the challenge of individual defense, understanding that we have help, right? This is a team sport. We all got to be on the same page, but, we're not showing or anything like that because that can kind of compromise your defense. And essentially, like if you want to play on our team, you have to be able to guard, and everybody knows that.
Last two questions here in the front row on the left.
DJ Sadeghi of Forbes. Obviously, Kristaps Porzingis, he's been out for over a month. You've watched him scrimmage leading into this game. Did you have any idea that he would come out firing the way that he did after such a long layoff?
I don't want to say I didn't doubt him, but I just understand, coming off an injury and missing that much time, it normally takes guys a little longer than that, but as somebody as tall and talented as he is, he makes it look really easy.
Jason, iHeart. You mentioned kind of some of the changes in terms of your perspective and just how you have the butterflies or kind of a nervous anxiety for the game. What kind of changed the course of time that puts you in a place where you are able to take things in a little bit more? And what does that mean to you to be able to kind of take in all that is the finals?
Maybe last year, right? Us losing in the conference finals. Maybe I just expected that after we lost in 22 that it was guaranteed that we were just going to keep coming back, and this is like our time. And last year was just kind of a wake-up call to not take anything for granted, because you never know how many opportunities that you might have.
Thank you. All right, along the wall.
Jaylen, you've talked all year about wanting to have the big matchups show that you can lead the way defensively. You had the big matchup to start this game with Luka, but you also, on the other end, were able to play within yourself while being aggressive. How difficult is that balance on the biggest stage to have those responsibilities, and how much do you relish that?
think it's a full team effort. And, Luka Doncic still at 30 and 10, so got to do a better job. But, it's a full team effort. And, tonight I got lucky a few times, but we got to get ready for game 2.
Left side here in the second row.
Jaylen, what stood out to you most about the performance tonight from the group? What did you like the most about the way you guys competed?
I think defensively, I thought we made some big time plays. When they cut it to 8, that's when the game started. And I liked how our team responded. We stayed composed. Offensively, we got to our spacing and was able to push that lead back out and make some plays on offense. That was a big third quarter.
On the left side here in back.
Hi, Rich Thompson, Boston Herald. Jaylen, what were you feeling at the end of the third when you rejected Kyrie under the basket and then went down the court for the big 3-point shot?
What was I feeling? Just trying to make some plays, get my team going. Defense is what, we got to hang our hat on. And right there, that was an example of that.
Over in the back, right, Jake?
Jaylen, along those lines, from like a typical 7-footer standpoint, like Kristaps is supposed to be the backline rim protector, anchor this defense. What's your thought process as you're trying to go up and contest a drive when you're in the backline there?
It just depends. It just depends on who you're on. It just depends on the spacing of the game, and we got to be able to make plays. And right there, it was just, I was a low guy. I was on some of those bigs. You don't want to give up lobs. That's one thing that we made an emphasis on. So I don't want to step up too much and give those lobs. But, I was able to cat and mouse a little bit and then make some plays at the rim.
John in the back left.
Jaylen, John Corrales, Boston Sports Journal. When you guys lost that lead, it gets down from 29 to 8. What's going through your head? We haven't seen this level of response maybe in the past, but this year you guys have been able to kind of turn that around a little bit. What goes into that kind of response?
That's the game right there. It's not going to be perfect. It's a long series. I expect them game 2 to come out with tremendous force and maybe try to hit us in the mouth. So, that's the game. When a team goes on a run, you gotta manage it. You gotta stay composed. And you gotta keep playing basketball. It's almost like you just have short-term memory, a little bit like the team's not even on a run. You got to play smart basketball and make great plays to get our flow back. And I think in that third quarter, I got to the free throw line. I think that helped us get going. And we made some reads. I made a kick out to the corner. Al got a 3. We was able to get some good offensive going, but getting to that paint, being solid, being composed was what allowed us to push that lead back out.
Steve in the front right.
Steve Buckley from The Athletic. Jaylen, back to the 8-point deficit lead. Joe said something like we asked him what he said during that timeout. He said, I talked for 30 seconds. They were on the bench. They're talking for 2.5 minutes. So I guess what I'm asking is, what did Joe say for 30 seconds, and what did you guys say to each other for 2.5 minutes?
We just said, just breathe. This is the game is starting now. Just breathe. This is a moment where, our experience shines through. Just breathe. Just keep playing basketball. If you got a shot that's open, take it with confidence. No turnovers. Take care of the basketball and just play our game. We got to get some stops. They made some big shots, and just navigate the run. That was it.
Tim standing on the left.
Tim Bondos from ESPN. Jaylen, a couple of years ago, you guys were obviously in the finals. Now you're back 2 years later. The two biggest differences are having Drew and Kristaps here with you guys. How much of an impact did the two of them make tonight, and what did they show in terms of the differences they've made to your team over the past year to get you to the position you guys are in?
Yeah, 2 great additions between Kristaps and Drew. And any given night, it could be any of us, And Kristaps had a monster game for us. Just his presence, shooting the ball, and then be able to attack those switches and mismatches. He made them pay every time, and that's what we need going forward in the series. Kristaps was big, but those other guys, Derrick White, Drew Holiday, JT, they all can get going at any point in time. So that's the beauty of our team. We just gotta, every game has its own story. We just gotta stay ready, stay composed, and take it one game at a time.
Vinny, third row on the right.
Jaylen, Vince Goodwill, Yahoo Sports. It looks like from earlier in the playoffs that you guys didn't need Porzingis. You guys got here with a 12-2 record and had a lot of rest. it seems like he completes you guys with the way he protects the rim and plays in the middle of the floor. Do you see it that way, that you guys are a complete top-to-bottom team now because he's back?
Yes, I think Kristaps has been great for us all season long. I mean, it's a big reason why we've been the best team in basketball, with record-wise at least, and having him back, and him playing well just to that level he was during the season is so important for us, because you got another defender, another shooter out there that you have to respect. So that just opens it up for everybody else. Now, next game, I'm sure they'll make adjustments. We got to be able to read it on the fly and make plays. Guys got to step up. We need guys like Sam, Peyton to come in and step up. JT, everybody got to be ready to go.
You became the first Celtic in finals history to have at least 20 points, 3 blocks, and 3 steals. What does it mean to you to showcase your career evolution on this stage?
It means nothing. You just get ready for the next one.
Again in the front.
Jaylen, 3 blocks, 3 steals, but then also when the game got a little tighter, it looked like you were drawing contact. You got to the free throw line a few times. Can you talk about how your aggressiveness on either ends of the floor have become a big part of your game?
Yeah, just trying to get to the paint, get paint threats that creates openness for our shooters. Just get to the free throw line, take my time and knock them down, clean it up for next game. But overall, just, that's what I've been doing all season long, just getting to the paint. And that just opens up, that puts a lot of pressure on the defense. We got a lot of guys that can shoot the ball, making those reads and stuff is big for us. So got to continue to maintain that throughout the season, throughout the series.
Jaylen, your friendship with Kristaps Porzingis has been well chronicled this year. Just as a friend and as a teammate and as someone who's been around him, what did it feel like to see him have the kind of game that he had right off the bat and have that energy?
It was amazing. Nobody's more proud or more excited for him than I am, but we got to get better. I mean, we got to almost forget about it and get ready for the next one. We can't be celebrating ourselves. Dallas is probably getting ready for the next game right now, so we got to prepare and get ready for the next one too.
Dave, last question.
Jaylen, Dave McMenamin, ESPN. Every basketball player at some point has to deal with an injury and have to go through recovery and rehab to get back onto the court. And usually we see a bit of a feeling out process. It takes time to get back to that same level. When did it click for you tonight that Kristaps didn't skip a beat?
Yeah, and that was it the first or the second quarter. He just went on a run where he hit the 3, hit the midi, then ran back, got the block at the rim in transition. He was just making play after play, and it was just like, all right, he's back. There was no question about it then. So we need some more of that going forward for the rest of this series.
Thank you, Jaylen.
Thanks.
All Sports. I know you had a month off and you probably weren't sure how effective you were going to be, but did you surprise yourself? Was tonight a lot of adrenaline, a lot of passion? How did you evaluate your performance tonight?
Yeah, I think obviously what helped me was just even from the walkout before the game and then getting on the court, getting that kind of support was, was unreal, and the adrenaline was pumping through my veins, and that definitely helped. Obviously, it wasn't ideal that I was out for such a long time, but I did everything I could to prepare mentally for this moment coming back, and it paid off, and we got the job done tonight and had a good game and happy about the result.
Dave, over here on the left.
Kristaps, what did you think of the assignment to come off the bench, I think, just for the second time of your career, and how did you find a comfort zone basically from the minute you stepped on the floor?
Yeah, I mean, from day one I came here and I said, I'll do whatever it takes to help this team win, right? And I think it was this situation, it made sense, and I didn't care. I knew I could prepare to come off the bench, which is something different for me, and that's what I did, and stepped into that role and embraced it, and had a good game.
Adam, over here on the left side, standing.
Kristaps, the other day when you were asked, are you 100%? You kind of had this long pause before you answered, and got a lot of people nervous, wondering what did that mean. Where were you at? Were you just messing with us? What was kind of the process getting through that to this time now?
Yeah, no, it's hard to say because all these thoughts went through my mind in that moment. What do I answer? I don't want to. I want to say I'm fine, but obviously I haven't played. I haven't been out there. I haven't had the the feel of like, am I 100%? You know, so. But tonight was a firm affirmation to myself, that I'm pretty good. You know, maybe I'm not perfect, but I'm pretty good, and I can play like this, and I can definitely add to this team.
During your first press conference with the Celtics, you were asked if you would be ready for the challenge of the playoffs, and you said, "I don't know." What has gone into preparing yourself for this stage over the years and over this season to kind of be ready for this, and not just that, but to get dropped into it after an injury?
What was the question?
What has prepared you to be ready for this stage, which you haven't been on? Haven't been out of the first round.
Like at the end of the day, it's like it's just basketball. You know, it's okay. It's higher intensity. It's like more, like intricacies of the game and stuff. Like more focus on little details. But at the end, it's just basketball, and I've been doing this for a long time, and even if I have time off, I can jump right back in, and I feel the same way, and I get to my spots, and I do so, whether it's playoffs, regular season, or whatever, it's I know how to do this, and that's it, just having that confidence going out there, whatever, first round or finals, just going out there with full confidence and giving what I can to the team.
Gary, back right.
Kristaps, Gary Watch from Boston Globe. Was there a moment that you felt like yourself? I mean, you were joking with fans. That's what you usually do. Like, you never seem to be serious. You always take everything so lighthearted. But was there a moment out there you were like, okay, I got it. Like, this is me. Like, when was that?
Even when, that first quarter, right, when I checked in and start, things going my way and stuff, I didn't even think about it. I was so in the moment and enjoying the moment and the crowd and everything, I don't know, it's like a blur to me right now. I have to rewatch the game, what happened and stuff, but I was completely just in the game, and that's the best feeling. Like, I had the most fun and I hope to have more of those moments going forward.
Malika over here on the left.
Malika Andrews, ESPN. Kristaps, there's never been a player like yourself, a 20-point per game scorer in the regular season, to miss this much time in the playoffs and come back at all, let alone have this sort of impact. Was there ever a moment, as Gary said, of doubt or testing, or was it like, no, okay, here we go, I got this?
Not in the sense of am I going to be okay, it was only physical. Am I going to be good to go physically, Not skills wise, there was never at least for me, never no doubt. But of course, you have ups and downs throughout the game, all this stuff happens, but mainly for me was to get there physically. And once I felt pretty good and the medical staff had my back and we did everything correct to get to this point and gave me the green light, I was good to go.
Steve on the right.
Thanks.
Front.
Back to Joe Mazzulla's decision to take you up, to have you come in off the bench. Can you tell me where that conversation took place, when it took place? Was it posed as a question, or did he just say, hey, this is what we're going to do?
No, we had a conversation and just came up to me. I knew he knew I was going to be fine with whatever, so he just told me, what do you think about this? And I said, of course, let's do it. And that's it. Just wasn't no big deal, and I trust Joe and he trusts me.
What did he say during the timeout when the lead got down to 8?
I don't know, but Joe always gives us the right message. You know what I mean? He himself is very almost he can be emotionless if that's what we need, and he can just come in completely even kill and give us the right message of what to focus on, and then he can come in and give us, some motivation if that's what we need in that moment, some energy, But I think there he was just even kill and giving us the some of the answers to what we need to do out there, and that was it. We trust him with his leadership.
Last question on the left side here in the third row before Jaylen comes up.
Hi, Kristaps. Karen Garrigian from Mass Live. Was your hesitation or uncertainty heading in more about your fitness, more about the calf itself? or, just rust?
I mean, a little bit of everything. Right? It's tough to not play for a month and then jump into the highest intensity game in the finals. It's obviously very tough, but as I said, I did everything I could to prepare for this moment, like mentally, and then just going out there and playing like instinctually almost, and trusting my body, and that was it. And as I said, like the support around me was great to get to this moment. And now, we just have to keep going and take care of business.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Jaylen will be right up. Is that sort of strictly game plan, like we help when his feet touch the paint or whatever it is, or is it more instinctual and trusting the guy behind you is going to make the next rotation?
It's a little bit of everything. Joe kind of gives us the freedom to trust our instincts, and then we also know that like if someone gets beat, someone's going to have your back, and we just fly around after that. So just a little bit of everything, and just competing at a high level.
Over here on the left,
Ryan with iHeartMedia. Up 8. The lead's been cut to 8 in the third quarter. With Dallas in that spot, what did you guys do to kind of set yourselves in that moment after they're in that run?
Yeah, I think like we just took a breath, stayed together, stayed composed, and just kind of got good looks offensively, moved the ball, able to get good looks, and I feel like that close to the third was huge. Kind of just put them away, kept the distance. Credit to the guys that are out there just staying together, getting stops defensively, and then making the right reads offensively.
Externally, there was a lot of focus on what Kristaps was going to do tonight. What did you guys think internally about what his performance is going to look like, and how did it meet expectations? What did you see?
Yeah, you never really know. Coming back from injury, we just seen him, all the hard work he's been putting in, but you never really know, and to miss all that time to come back for the finals. But he was unreal today, and it's nice to have him back.
Next row back on the left.
Hey there, Derek. Nick Galley, Field Level Media. Obviously a dominant win for you guys tonight. Jaylen was just in here, kind of mentioned you have to kind of brush this off in a sense, not be stagnant for game 2. How do you guys kind of keep your foot on the gas after a game like this?
Yeah, we just won one game. We know they're going to be better. I think we've seen it in the playoffs this year. Like, they've lost game 1s, and they came back and played better. So it's just one game. We got to learn from it. We got to grow and understand that we're going to need to play a lot better game 2.
Again on the left, next row back, Dave.
David McMenamin with ESPN. You guys, as a franchise, retooled the roster since the finals against the Warriors. You had a guy like Kristaps, just at 7'2" with his skill set. What does he bring to the table when he's clicking the way he did tonight?
He's a matchup nightmare. Even when you play good defense, he doesn't really see you. He's been unreal just watching him all year. And then defensively, he uses his size well, just impacts the games in so many different ways. So he changes us, and he makes us a better team.
Front right.
Derek, Joe mentioned that in that timeout when the Mavs went on that run and cut the lead down, the coaches go into their meeting and you guys sort of talk to the bench. Joe praised how well you guys communicate with each other. Is anybody who sort of leads those, or are you guys just talking amongst yourself? And what did you say in that moment to each other to sort of get yourself back on track?
Yeah, it can be anybody. I think it was JB that timeout, but Al, JT, Drew. I can say that's the great thing about this team is. There's something that needs to be said, people are going to say it, and we're willing to accept that and grow from it. So, it doesn't have to be anybody that's playing. X has said stuff in the past that have helped us, and so there's a lot of guys that have the voice, and we're just learning and growing with each other.
John in the back left. Derek, you talk about taking that breath to stop their run, start your run. I don't want to make it sound like, why didn't you take that breath sooner? But what's the process of they're making that run? Obviously, you want to stop that run sooner. Why did it take that long? What's the process of withstanding that, going through that, and getting to that point? You're like, okay, this is where we're turning it around.
Yeah, I mean they're a really good team. They're gonna make runs. They're gonna make tough shots. They're gonna make it difficult for us. So we didn't expect it to be easy, and I wish you could just stop it after like 1 point. That'd be nice, but and you just gotta figure out why you're struggling and just try to limit those mistakes.
Shane up front.
Shane Forbes, as a guard that also gets a lot of blocks, what have you thought about Jaylen and his weak side help and the work he's done on that end this year?
Yeah, JB's unreal. On the perimeter, blocking shots, obviously he had 2 big-time blocks. He could just do everything on the basketball court, and he has like no weaknesses on both sides, and so he's big time.
In the front here, left.
DJ Sadicki of Forbes. Obviously, you guys have been on a finals run before. You guys lost to the Warriors. Do you feel like going through that experience, you guys are much more composed and prepared for this finals run this time around?
Yeah, I think anytime you go through something like that and all the experience that we've gathered through, like the ups, the downs, like all that has just helped us to be a better team. And so we've learned from everything, and like this core group has been together through a lot of adversity, so I definitely think it helps.
Last question, Tim on the left.
From 2 years ago to now, obviously the biggest difference on the court is both Kristaps and Drew being here compared to back then. I'm just curious, in tonight's game, seeing the way that Drew was able to, and you were able to impact the defense on the perimeter, the way KP was at the rim, did you sort of see what you guys hoped that they would bring to you guys when you brought them here last summer?
Yeah, those two are unreal. Great players, great teammates, and they just do so many little things for us on both sides of the basketball. So it's amazing having them as our team, on our team.
Thank you, Derek. As many questions as you can. Opening statement or go right to questions?
No.
Bobby on the right on 1.
Joe, what led to going with Kristaps off the bench here, and what allowed him to get off to that start he did in the first half?
Yeah, just thought it gave us the best chance to win, and he was great on both ends of the floor. Defensive execution, game plan, fighting for a spot in the offensive end, being physical, and making plays on both ends of the floor. So I thought he played great, and that's the KP that helped us get to where we are today.
What did you see from Jayson and the pressure he kind of drew defensively and how he played around that?
Yeah, just poise. They have a great defensive system, great defensive team, throw a bunch of stuff at you. Different spacings, different coverages, and the poise to just figure it out, make the right play is going to be the most important thing. I thought he had that, throughout the game.
Dave over here on the left side.
The Mavs were able to cut it to 8 in the third quarter. You guys respond with a 14-0 run, and Kristaps is making plays during that run as well. Just how big was that moment, and for him to continue his impact after that hot start?
Yeah, game management's going to be important. This is a great team. They have a tendency to go on great runs, and that's going to happen. And so you have to be able to manage those with poise and execution, know why those runs are being made, and quickly put a stop to them with high-level execution. So KP was a huge part of that run. But I liked the way we handled their run, because that's going to happen. You're not going to stop that. You just have to have the poise and the toughness to work through it. I thought our guys did that.
Jake, 5th row towards the center.
Joe, Jaylen was your leading scorer tonight, but defensively, the 3 blocks, guarding Luka in space. What can you say about his effort on that side of the ball?
Yeah, what you saw tonight is kind of the challenge he took for himself coming into the year, not wanting to be defined by one thing, wanting to make plays, wanting to be a well-rounded player and get better and better. And so his spacing, his ball movement, his defense on ball and off ball. Usually when you give up a run and your offense gets a little stagnant, your defense goes with it. And tonight our defense kept us in it. And that's really important, just to have that defensive mindset. And some of those plays that Jaylen made were a part of that.
Second row on your left.
Coach Shane Forbes, you mentioned the ball movement. Just kind of curious what you've seen in terms of when Jayson or Jaylen draw 2, the ability to kick out and get the machine moving.
Yeah, I think a couple of the great passes JT stuck out. The one Jaylen threw to Al in the corner. I think it was either Jaylen or JT, but that's what those guys do. They have the ability to draw two guys, and the most important thing is making the right play over and over again, doing what's best for the team, reading the 2-on-1s. And when they're at their best, those guys are able to do that. And, I thought their decision-making helped control the game, especially when they went on that run, and we were able to get that back. We went back to, with JT there, and he was able to help us sustain that with high-level execution. So it's really important when those guys do that.
Third row on your left.
Joe, when did you make the decision to bring Kristaps off the bench, and did you have to have a conversation with him about that, and how did that go?
Yeah, I always talk to the players about what we think is best for the team, and, that's that. Yeah.
And when did you make that decision?
I don't know, I can't remember.
Front row on the...
Back to the timeout. What did you say? What did you see when they came off the court? Can you sort of take us back to that?
The one when they cut it to 8? Mm-hmm. Listen, it's the NBA Finals. You're playing against a great team, and they're going to make runs. And so just building awareness to why the run was made. And, that team does a great job of making defensive adjustments on the fly. And sometimes it takes us a possession or two to recognize that. And so just understanding the run, what can we do to change it? And, how can we just get better coming out of that? And so I thought the guys' poise out of that timeout was big, and that's going to happen. They're going to go on more runs, and we're going to have to fight through.
So the timeout ends, they go back out to the court. Before you go on that run, did you feel at that moment when the timeout ended that your message had been received?
Yeah. So,
over here on the left, second row.
Joe, a couple of things you preach consistently, your physicality and also details. What did you see in game one, in that regard, on both sides of the basketball, particularly with your physicality and meeting their physicality?
Yeah, again, I thought our defensive mindset, our defensive execution, our defensive game plan, our positioning, we had the right intentions. And I thought we played really physical for the most part, defended without fouling. And, on the offensive end, we made some physical drives. And so that's the key there, is just having the physical mindset on both ends of the floor.
Porzingis' impact on offense, obviously, was significant, but perhaps even more impactful defensively what he was able to do around the rim?
Yeah, listen, I know that the storyline has to be, what's he going to look like, because he took he was off for a month, but that's what he's been doing his whole career. The guy's a great player. He's been great for us. The reason why we're here is because of what he's done. So it doesn't matter how long he takes off. The guy's going to make plays because of how talented he is and the work that he puts in. And, what he did for us tonight is big, and I need that for the rest of the series.
Second row on your right.
Joe, when the Mavs were making their big run, your guys' offense sort of, I don't want to say stalled out a little bit, but you guys weren't getting as easy buckets. Did you see something that they changed that caused that, or was it just a matter of you guys not making the same shots?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then you mentioned the timeout. You said, you talked to them, you explained that you were playing the same way. Was there anything any of the guys said during that timeout or around that time that, sort of to each other? Did you notice any of that?
No, out of the 3 minutes, 2.5 of it, they're by themselves. So, they communicate well with each other. They have great relationships. So I'm sure during the time the coaches are meeting that they're having that communication with each other. They do a good job of communicating with each other throughout the game.
Front row here on the left.
Joe, you've continuously stressed the importance of defense. They didn't have a 25-point quarter tonight. What did you like on the defensive end tonight?
Just sticking with the game plan. Game plan execution is very important. Having a clear understanding of what you have to take away on every possession. And just knowing that in order to defend these guys at a high level, you have to play efficient offense. And I thought we did that for the majority of the game, obviously, at the run. There weren't many live ball turnovers, and so, we missed some open shots. They forced us into a couple of tough shots. But we were able to manage the transitions of the game with our offensive execution and our defensive game plan.
Last two, second row in the center and over here.
You guys took away two of their preferred methods of scoring, lobs and corner threes. They didn't make a corner three until the final minute of the game and only attempted 3 overall. What was the key to just sustaining that and taking away those sources of offense?
Yeah, listen, they're going to make a lot of adjustments and they're going to do a lot of great things because of the talent that they have. So we just have to execute the game plan, communicate coverages, communicate matchups. Guys did a great job communicating to each other and keeping defense first.
Over here in this corner.
Joe, you held
the team, the Mavericks, to a total of 9 assists during the game. I think Luka had 1 assist, Kyrie had 2 assists. I mean, what was the key to that, stifling their passing lane and stifling their playmaking abilities?
Yeah, just good individual defense. Everybody's going to take on the challenge regarding those guys. They're an amazing team, and they put a ton of pressure on you in different ways with their ability to score. And everyone's got to take their matchup, personal, have personal pride in individual defense.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Again, a reminder